The GP again today on Friday before we head off to the pub at 4 o'clock. It's about 11:30 now. That's an example of how effective this water blasting tool that Dale the handyman brought over yesterday. He did it to the front of my house on this hardwood, but he said on softwood it's even more effective. That's after blasting it, and that's prior. That shows how much muck is on this paling fence and the dramatic change it makes. He said he did that in 5 minutes. So I might get him to do the whole fence line, because it will extend the life of the paling fence, because all that gunk actually eats away at the wood itself. So anyway, I'll head off now to the quack, and hopefully won't be too hot. It's about 30 degrees, feels like 35, so I'll take it easy as usual. A bit of cloud cover, thank God. That might be my saving grace. To the GPs and back. Easier coming back. There was less of a headwind. It was quite pronounced going there, so best to get the worst of it out of the way early. Another government letter. I seem to be getting lots of them lately. Anyway, as long as they're not asking for taxes or whatever. Whew, yeah, so just have a look at the time. It took me 10 minutes to get there, and it's 48 past. I saw the GP pretty well straight away, so I reckon I was out of there. Yeah, probably a little over 10 minutes to get back. So I guess that's not bad. I worked that out at about a little over 10 k's average an hour if it's a 1.7 kilometre journey. That's my maths anyway. If you want to check that, go for your life, because I think that's as the crow flies pretty well, because I used Google Maps for that one. I don't think they used a car, because it was a car. You'd have to go over 4 kilometres, because you have to go all the way out to the highway, which is a drag. And hopefully one of the last trips I have to make to the GP to get these dressings redone. Although the GP thinks I should continue on with the bike rides in spite of whether I need to go to the GP or not. And she may have a point there. I'll tell you one thing, it's heaven here for skinks. You should see how many lizards I've got in this place. Only small ones, but they're around the bins, they're inside the house, they're everywhere. So this could be Jurassic Park 3 or whatever the number is in the franchise these days. It's probably about 10 actually. Anyway, it's overcast, a little overcast, and there's no rain forecast today, but tomorrow and the day after should be pretty bad. So this is the best time to get the ride in, so it should be fun. Near the end of this procedure, finally this wound seems to be healing. Getting here was a bit of a problem, just getting across the Trinity Beach Road. There was a driver right across from me. He just stopped and was waiting for me to go across the pedestrian thing. And I had to wave her on, because she would have just waited forever. So it's been very polite, but in a way it was a pain in the backside. So anyway, it's going to be hopefully a cooler day today. It's supposed to be 26 degrees Tuesday. And hopefully my second last trip to the hospital for this treatment for a while, which will be a nice break, because you do get into a bit of a rut, but again you do it works. I can't complain in that respect. I'm in a fairly genteel rut, but it's still a bit of a rut, and I'm looking forward to a change of scenery, to a bit of travel in the near future. Should be good. Still humid today, even though it's overcast and only about 26 degrees. I'd say the humidity levels are very high. So as usual, I'll appreciate getting into the air-conditioned bus. It'll be nice. That was correct. It actually is drizzling right now, so they were correct. Give them credit where credit's due. And you can see there's quite a few grey clouds around. It's going to be one of those days, a bit of sunshine with the drizzle. And So not the most pleasant environment, because they'll put the humidity up a bit higher, I'd say. Oh, we've got a rainbow though as a bonus. I suppose that's something. Hope you can see that in the lens. Now the bus should come by this side fairly soon. It's running late, but it was last week, to get to the terminus at about 8:15, and it's about that now. So I would not be surprised to see that bus come here in the next few minutes. The main thing is I don't cancel the service, which hasn't happened. It's happened once, I think, since being up here. So that's not a bad run. I was watching a blogger, Dale Phillip, who used to be a pretty top-notch poker player, but now he does travel blogs, and he's in Indonesia. We just left Malaysia for Indonesia, and it's going through all the rigmarole with the airports just reminded me of all the hassles it is with travel, as far as the actual getting from point A to point B. The arriving there is fabulous. I love being in a foreign country, but there are a lot of hassles to get there, and he generally goes in fairly he just goes sort of budget airlines most of the time, although his accommodation seems to be getting more upmarket. He's a member of a club because he does so much travel, and he got an upgrade at the Hilton Hotel in, oh God, it's the second biggest city in Indonesia, on Java. You'd know it. It's a big port city, and it's about 9 million people, 9.5 million people in the metropolitan area, so it's a big city. And so he flew there. But I don't know why he actually didn't fly or just journey from Bali when he was over there to this city, because it was much closer, and it saves having to go through international borders. You're already in the country, makes life a lot simpler. Anyway, that's the way he did it, and he got upgraded from the cheapest budget room to a suite upstairs. Not that the suite was that big. I mean, I expect suites to be a little larger than what he got. He got the basic suite, if there is such a thing, which I guess there must be. But he got a lot of freebies thrown in with food and what have you, so pretty good deal. And he paid about $70 US a night for the cheapest room, and estimates that the suite would be at least a couple of hundred if he had to pay for it. It appeared as if the hotel was really quiet, and I think they're going to do it tough in hospitality this year with the recession upon us. I think it pretty well is upon us, whatever the stats are. You can't believe stats these days. So many of these numbers are cooked by governments. It just, you just got to go by your gut feeling, I think, to really know what's happening in the world. And my gut feeling's telling me that we're already in a recession, and it's going to be a very tough year or two ahead of us. Well, that was a very late bus I got here, just made it by the skin of my teeth. And the weather's been pretty inclement, but luckily not now. It's a little... But when the guy turned up, he had on the front that the bus was not in service. I think he must have changed that, because I saw the side sign and it did say that he was the 111, so that's fine. Another annoying thing is that some of these bus drivers, they will not stop where you're waiting. I was waiting opposite the stop, which is the correct position, and he decided to pull up a few metres before that, so I had to walk up to the bus. I don't know why they do that, it's just very annoying. Anyway, I got here in one piece, and I'll just make it in time, so it could be a lot worse, yes. And hopefully the second last time for a while, which will be good as well. Although I'm going to be doing a lot of trips down here before I head off OS. This wet, my sandals, leather sandals, got absolutely soaked over there. They're just a swamp to walk through. It's terrible. So it's really pissing down right now. And the walkways are not coping. So A very wet Tuesday in Cairns. The shelter's so saturated, the seats are bloody wet, you can't even sit on them. And of course there's no glass to protect you from the wind, which we've got as well. So it's just the worst possible conditions. So I'll just get back there and try to stay as dry as I possibly can. There's a bit of clear sky there, thank God. I'm just leaving. I could have got it, but I figured there's so much rain at the moment. If I got off at Kawara and had to try to navigate footpaths, they'd be flooded. It just wouldn't be worth it. Because the one down there's a swamp just here in Smithfield, so it just wouldn't be worth it. Yeah, it's e-bus too. So I may be kicking myself because the 111 may never show. But we'll see. We'll see. On a day like today, it actually is clearing up now, but it's going to take an hour or two for the rain to drain off the footpaths, I'd say. So it's, yeah, not worth it. It's a poor design, this shelter, really. I mean, if you get a bit of rain, it just basically saturates the seats, so you've got nowhere to sit, and if there's any wind, you get it goes straight through here. I presume at some stage, if these were glass panels and have all been vandalised, I'm guessing that that's what the design was like. I think they should put some panels in there to basically give you a bit of weather protection then. Some metal panels or aluminium, whatever, because it's just not good enough. It goes down as one of the crappiest days to catch a bus to Kawara. I'm glad I didn't take the 110 and try to cut across, because as you can see the rain's started again, so it wouldn't have been much fun. Luckily the bus driver dropped me off at the closest stop, saved me a little bit of walk in the rain, so that's nice of them. So yes, we've had probably about 4 or 5 days of really warm and dry weather, but it was too warm. It was getting very hot again, so this will at least take the edge off the heat. Supposedly dry tomorrow, but we'll see. That'll be good because I've got to ride the push bike to the local GP again, so hopefully it is dry weather. You can hear thunder in the background. It's really come down. Haven't seen any lightning, but I've seen a rainbow today. Well, it's just after 3 o'clock, and still haven't got any power on in the house. The computer and fan just died probably about an hour ago, and I just got a text message from my neighbour Steve, and he's informed me that a substation in Gannett Street has died on us, so that's being checked out by Ergon presumably. So hopefully before I want to cook, we'll get power back on, because this is an all-electric house and I'm stuffed without electric power. So yeah, fingers crossed that works out. Mind you, I'm better off than Steve in that he spent quite a bit of money on setting up a battery backup to his solar system just for situations like this, and apparently it's failed on him. So he is not happy with the solar company, who have really stuffed him around big time. And to me, this may be an isolated situation. He may have just unfortunately stumbled upon a crook contractor or company, but it could be a more systematic situation that with this technology, the battery technology, it isn't quite there yet. It certainly is not cheap. I think they'll have to get the power density up in batteries quite a bit to make it viable. And so, you know, you can get stung with all this stuff. He's trying to make sure that he wouldn't be in the lurch when a situation like this occurred, and it's just let him down. So, yeah, you would not be impressed if you've been forking out thousands of dollars for a battery backup and it provides you with no backup whatsoever. Yeah, not a happy camper, that's for sure, and I don't blame him. The thing is, I know because he contacted me that it wasn't just something to do with my house. I checked my power board out the front, outside, just near the kitchen, and all the switches were in an up position, so they hadn't changed. And I turned on some lights and nothing happened there, so I knew all the circuits were gone. And hopefully hasn't done any damage to my equipment. It flickered for a while. It almost looked like it was going to come back on and then just died. So I don't know. That's my only real concern, is that it may have caused some problems with my equipment, but fingers crossed that isn't the case. The one good thing is I was able to get myself a cup of coffee just before the blackout, so I had a hot cup of coffee, so I just had enough time to get that done, because I've been hanging out for my morning cup of coffee all day because I had to go down to Cairns. When I do that, I don't have it in the morning, I have it when I come back. Certainly something nice to look forward to, that's for sure. And it went down well today, but now we have this situation with no power, which could last for another hour or two. You just don't know. It's around 4:45 in the afternoon. I'll just turn the camera around to show you how saturated the backyard is. Still without power. We've been without power for about 2 hours, 20 minutes now. And there's no sign of it coming back on. And we've just got constant rain and a very boggy backyard. As you can see, it's pretty bad there as well. I've got my one of 2 G&Ts left. I've drained the bottle, so I only got 2 glasses. And the ice is still holding up rather well in the freezer, but I won't try to open the freezer door until power is restored, because I don't want to jeopardise. I've got a lot of frozen stuff in there at the moment, so this is not good for me. As a matter of fact, I bought a pizza today for about, I think it's about $4.50 at Woolworths, a Supreme pizza. Shoved it straight in there, but it was probably only in for about half an hour before the power failed, so I don't know if that's been compromised, because it took some time to get it back home, because I had to wait for the 1:11 bus. And so probably bought it around probably about quarter to 1 this afternoon. I bought it, and the bus turned up actually about a minute early, about 1:10, according to my watch, my clock, my phone, I should say, which is what I use for a wristwatch these days. And yeah, it turned up at 10 past 1. It was supposed to be at 11 past, so it was just slightly early. And I got home about 2-ish. I must have got home earlier than that. It must have been about 20 to 2. It takes about half hour. It's a pain in the ass going through Trinity Park and then Trinity Beach before we get to Kawara. I wish they had an alternate route. There's no way I could take the 110 today, because as you can see how boggy my backyard is, it would have been terrible trying to get across the highway, and then on the footpaths, no doubt they were saturated too. That is normally the faster way of getting there, but I didn't even bother today. But yeah, at least I'm sort of medicating with a couple of G&Ts. I don't mind having a light night with the booze. I just hope that we do get some power in the next hour or so, because I do want to actually make up a spaghetti topping. I've got some green pepper I bought from Coles, and it'll go off if I don't use it today. So I'd like to make that as part of the ingredients for a pizza sauce that, well, not a pizza sauce, sorry, a pasta sauce. And we're not quite like it. I haven't made it for some time, and it's a tuna. I put tuna in there as well. That's the main base, and lots of a can of tomatoes and tomato paste and oregano and mixed herbs and black pepper, and it's very tasty. I really like it. Saute onions and garlic in the pan, in the fry pan, and yeah, it makes up a great meal. But I can't commence it until I get power because I've got nothing to cook with. Although my hot water service seems to be doing fine. I turn on the hot water and that's as hot as ever. So it's got a tank, so obviously it will last for a few hours at least. I don't know if it'll last till tomorrow morning. If it's a worst case scenario, we might be without power for an extended period of time. I hope not. I hope it's just... I'm assuming I saw some lightning. I heard thunder. I assume there was lightning going with it when I got off the bus. So I'm just wondering if the substation got hit with a bolt of lightning. Quite possible, I guess. The question is, does Ergon have the parts on hand to fix the damn thing in a few hours? It's not looking good at the moment. It's been over 2 hours and no sign of it of getting power back on. But you never know. You never know. Hopefully it won't be much longer. It's there's someone tried to contact me on the phone. That might be good news. I'll just check it out. Well, it looks like Steve's come to the rescue. He's offered to pick me up and head off to the Trinity Beach Sports Club. Well, going on the map that he sent through to me, they're not affected by the power outage. It's a tree down in Kawara Street, apparently. So who knows how long that's going to take to fix, but I can continue on with my drinking at the actual sports club, have some beers rather than gin, and I'll be back at Trinity tomorrow, and about 9 o'clock I've got to go to the GP to have my dressing looked at again. So I'm wondering, people in Trinity Beach, they might get better service from Ergon because there's more businesses there. That's a possibility, I guess. Mind you, we had quite a few blackouts in Parramatta Park, more than here. So I don't know how the infrastructure holds up, but maybe it's not so good anywhere. But, who knows. But, yeah, why not go out? Might as well do something, and rather than just be miserable at home without any power. But if it's a tree down, I assume that they'll be fixed pretty soon. Fingers crossed. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.